Well, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Color Me Badland, back to share an absolutely gorgeous unisex oud fragrance. This comes from one of those inspired by companies. I was just scrolling through my Instagram one day, minding my fine old business, and this company popped up. And you know, anytime a fragrance advertisement pops up on my timeline and I've never heard of it, or I've heard of it but I've never inquired about it, and I got a few minutes, I'll always click on it and kind of scroll through and see what they have to offer, what they're talking about, so on and so forth. Most of the time I don't purchase anything. I just like to do research and find out what's going on because I love fragrances. And upon me clicking on one of these websites one day, I discovered a really amazing house of fragrances that hopefully in the future it turns into a partnership. So if you're interested to find out what fragrance company I'm coming on to share with you guys and the fragrance, please continue to watch. Alright, so let's get into it. You can probably tell that this is really late at night, or it's really early in the morning. I'll allow you to make that assumption upon yourself. But the raspiness in my voice always tells it all, right? I've either been talking a whole lot or singing a whole lot, or just, waking up or whatever. And so I wanted to come on again and share this really cool house of fragrances. I normally don't get into like inspired by fragrances, but then upon researching fragrances and houses and all that good stuff, I found out, well, some of the fragrances in my collection may be dupes, or there are dupes for some of the fragrances that are in my collection out on the market. Who knows? I mean, a lot of times most people don't have enough time to go in and check on which came first, right? It really doesn't matter, especially if it's something that you enjoy wearing, if it smells good on you, if people enjoy it when you wear it, if you got it at a really great price, and even if you enjoy it and you spend a whole lot of money on it, it's your money, so enjoy. But this house of fragrance I stumbled upon. I've heard of different other companies like Dossier and Inspired by the Perfumia or something, I don't know. There's so many different companies out there that have inspired body oils and fragrances that are inspired by higher end designer fragrances, higher end niche fragrances and things of that nature. So upon my discovery, again, I clicked on this website flowing down my Instagram timeline one day, and they were advertising this company, and I'll bring in the box here. Okay, and I came on to share just a little bit of information about this fragrance. When they first sent this to me, I was kind of excited. I was really impressed by the presentation of the fragrance. You can kind of see the name of the company here. Very nice. Now I do want to also emphasize and say again and again, and I'll say this all the time until I start using a different recording system, that my camera flips everything backwards. And so if you're not reading this and it's going this way instead of that way, it's Oakcha'S. That's the name of the company. And just to give you a little bit of an idea of how this box opens, it has one of those really cool clasps. I really like that. I really do. I love details, and I think that that's something really nice. It makes you feel like that you are really getting something nice for your money, and it really personalizes your purchase. And I didn't bring my reading glasses, so I don't know, this has got a lot of going on here. Okay, so, but I'm going to show you here, and it's mainly because that glare from the light and then that gold lettering sometimes makes it hard. So the first fragrance that I added to my collection, or was able to add to my collection from their company, is called Blue Stallion. If you guys love fragrances, you've probably seen this particular fragrance advertised on your Instagram, or if you've gone onto their website, you can either see that they were about to discontinue this fragrance, or it's sold out or something like that. And the price for this one is really low. I'm going to read to you guys what the inscription says here, if I can see it. Okay, it says, welcome to our world of fragrances. We handcraft our fragrances using premium perfume extracts. And this is from across the world, they say. Each fragrance is a unique sensory experience that will leave a lasting impression wherever you go. It's a, what does it say? It tantalize your senses and capture every moment with the perfect fragrance. So I thought that was really nice. It has a nice little note from the company, you know, kind of giving their, not, I wouldn't call it a mission statement, but that's kind of what it sounds like. I'll take it. I like that. They paid attention to detail. That always matters, right? And so, oh, again, this is inside of like a coffin almost. Look. So I always love this. I told you the first time I got, I think like an award or something. Not the first time I got an award, but the first time I got an award that was down in like a coffin type of a box, like similar to this. It was super creepy to me, you all. Like super, super creepy. But after I got over that kind of feeling of like, why would they stick something down in here and you gotta dig it out? It just kind of felt kind of morbid almost. But now when I get things because of that particular experience, now when I get things that are down in something like this, which a lot of people call these fragrance coffins, I think, I love it. I really do, because if you want to store and keep your box and you don't want to display your fragrance that you've purchased, it's snug. So if you want to move these or somebody knocks it over or whatever the case may be, you can't even hear this. You can't hear it moving. So very, very secure. I love that. So I guess you're wondering, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So what does it smell like? Well, right now I'm having a love affair with my oud fragrances. It is that time of the year. I've been coming on and talking about oud, because I love the scent of oud in my fragrances. And I love oud and rose. If you haven't watched any of my recordings prior to this one, I'm on a lifelong journey to find the most beautiful oud and rose fragrances. I have a lot of them in my collection that are really, really nice, but we're still hunting. So this is a really nice oud fragrance. It was really, 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 really inexpensive when I grabbed this. You know, and the way that they treat you when you order, I hope your experience is the same. But you know, I get on the phone with people and ask questions. You know, if I got time, I want to know what's going on. I want to know the whole spiel, right? So anyway, let's get into this particular fragrance. You know, I can talk forever. You don't need to know all of that. Gender of this fragrance, which I don't really get why they do that. But you know, I guess it's because there are some gentlemen that just don't want those girly fragrances, and there are some women that don't want those manly fragrances. I get that, because I'm the same way. But I love a good unisex fragrance, and this is one of them. This is so good, you guys, and I think I've only worn this once. So anyway, again, this is a unisex fragrance. Anyone who wants to wear this absolutely can. I'm going to read to you what they give us on the website, and you can look this information up too, so you don't think that I'm like reading some type of script or anything. This is what their idea and thought was behind this fragrance. I love stuff like this, so let's get into it. The Arabian horse races are a famous annual event. If you guys didn't know that, it's kind of like what we have over here in America with the Kentucky Derby almost. But a little bit, theirs is a little bit fancier, okay? Like way fancier, if you can imagine that. In the private track, the jockeys gather and tend to their stallions' tail with deep obsidian black manes, glimmering beneath the hot sun. Their legs kick up the dust of past empires, and the spirit of Dubai lives in the blue stallion. And that is the name of this fragrance. Always conquering and commanding your attention effortlessly. Oh, I love it. I just love that description. I thought that was so neat. This is really, really nice. I've only sprayed out on this and worn this, I think, once when I first added this to my collection. And then I think that I kind of layered this with something a little bit later on down the line. But this is really, really good. It's intentional. And that's what I love. I love intentional fragrances, right? This is really good, you guys. So your top notes of this have saffron in them. So if you don't like saffron, which is a violet floral, maybe a little bit off-putting for you in the very beginning. This has lavender in it, but they did it really beautifully. And I think a lot of times you'll find a lot of lavender more so in men fragrances or fragrances that lean more so unisex, which is okay with me as long as the lavender is done well and it doesn't overpower the fragrance. And in this particular offering from Oakcha'S, it does not, and I'm grateful for that. Because if I pay 1 penny for something, I still want it to work well for me and I want to enjoy it, right? It has cypress. It has grapefruit in it. Another note in fragrances that a lot of times I don't really care for. Still good. Cinnamon, which I love. Nutmeg, which I love. Styrax. It has cardamom and it has apple. And that's in your very top. So that's what you're supposed to get in your very first spray out. Now I'm gonna tell you, because my body loves oud, that I'm getting oud already. Okay, so maybe mine moves quickly, and this because it is a clean, vegan, and cruelty-free fragrance, that it really gets in there and starts to go for me. Your heart notes are geranium. You got tobacco. That's another one of my favorite notes. In fragrances, you'll mainly find tobacco in unisex or male fragrances. I love agarwood. That's your oud. Right in the heart note. So depending on your body chemistry, you may smell that right away. It's kicking on me already. You got cedar. You got cypress. There's labdamen in this. There's a floral notes in here. You've got casmirin. You've got white florals such as your lily of the valley. And then you get into your base notes. This is what makes this a cold weather friend. And this is what makes this a oud love affair. In your base notes. And this is what you're supposed to get when the fragrance cools down. Or like after you've applied your fragrances, you've gotten dressed. You're moving on for the day. You get where you're going. You unwrap your clothing for wherever you are going. And you get this pop of your base notes, which is going to be leather, patchouli, a more agarwood, which I absolutely love. You get guac wood, which is more wood, very, very woodsy. You get a little bit of musk, which normally is extracted from an animal most of the time. Because this is vegan and cruelty free, it is probably a synthetic musk note. You're also going to get vetiver. You're going to get a little bit of benzoin, which I love. You'll find benzoin in a lot of fragrances that have oud in them, and a lot of fragrances that are unisex or male fragrances. You're also going to get tonka bean, which I love that. This is such a gorgeous fragrance, you guys. And then you also get amber. This is a really clean fragrance. I know that a lot of people were talking about clean fragrances, clean makeup, all that kind of stuff. This is what I would call a clean oud. I don't know how they managed to get the vibe of the blue stallion in a bottle, but if you have never seen a blue stallion horse, look it up, Google it. And you know, if you decide to get this fragrance, and you'll feel the vibe and the spirit of that horse in this fragrance. Is so beautiful, very clean, a very pristine fragrance. I would recommend wearing this by itself. Of course, a lot of us fragrance lovers and that people that love to experiment with their fragrances, or we like to layer and we like to mix it up. Like lately, I've been doing a lot of fragrance combos where I'll take one of my favorite fragrances and layer it with something else. Or I will take a fragrance that doesn't perform very well and I will layer it with 3 or 4 other fragrances. Yeah, 3 or 4. It depends on how I'm feeling, if I want to have fun and find out what's going to happen. And one of the reasons that we do that a lot of times is because at the end of the day, there is always one of those fragrances that rises to the top. And it's always really, really cool to discover which one's going to do that for you. I had one that's something like an experience that happened like that for me yesterday. I used like 2 different fragrances, and maybe about 6 hours into my workday, possibly, maybe about 5 or 6, I got this really beautiful, just a nice light whiff of my fragrance. And it was shocking and surprising because, you know, when you're working and busy and doing things, at some point you go nose blind or you forget about what you're wearing. You know you sprayed on something good, but it's really not that big of a deal. You'll get those ones that just shine through for you. This will do that all on its own, is what I'm trying to get to. And so if you are wanting something that is going to be powerful and potent, you're okay with wearing a unisex fragrance, you love your oud fragrances, and you're not afraid to smell powerful because you are powerful, this is a Beast Mode Mama Girl Oud Love Affair fragrance. I'm super, super glad that I have this in my collection. I can't wait to come on and talk more about the company Oakcha'S and their fragrances, what they offer, and different fragrances. And what this one is supposed to be inspired by a fragrance called Medan. And I'm not familiar with that fragrance, but if it smells anything like this, it's got it going on. I don't have a sample or anything like that to be able to compare with you guys which one's better, whether or not this one compares. This is absolutely gorgeous. And so I wanted to come on and share that on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being I love, extremely like, we'll do extremely like. The packaging, I would say a 4.5. This is really, really nice, you guys. And again, it has the nice little magnetic clasp on it. It sits inside of a fragrance coffin, so you don't have to worry about your fragrance being damaged before it gets to you. There was no leakage or anything of that nature. If we would do a 1 to 5 on presentation, this is a very clean and sleek bottle. I love a black bottle. If you guys don't already know, I love fragrances in black bottles. I love my white bottles and my red, but black does something for me. And I love the fact that they have the name of the company on the side of the bottle. I like the fact also that the bottles are all the same. They just change up the names on all of the bottles. They aren't gender specific in the design. So these will be catering to anybody, male or female. Okay, so I would give them a 5 on packaging. Very sleek, very nice. If you're a minimalist, you will probably love this, right? Nothing gaudy, nothing fancy, nothing over the top, just straight to the point and simple, good fragrance. On the actual fragrance itself, like on a scale of 1 to 5, I would definitely give this a 4. I didn't fall in love with this when I first smelled this, even though I love oud, and I love a leather note, and I think that's what got me. I do get a little bit of the lavender at the very, very beginning of this fragrance, and I don't care for lavender all that much. I really don't like it at all unless it's done really, really nicely. And I can smell a little bit of that in the very beginning, which kind of threw me off a little bit. After that top note fades away, it's all gone. I don't smell it anymore, and I'm glad for that, right? Because if it was lingering, I wouldn't like it at all. So I would give this a 4 on the scent itself, the fragrance itself. When it comes to like your long-lasting fragrance, it does settle down very quickly. I think that is because it is a vegan fragrance. It gets straight to the point. This fragrance doesn't play any games. You don't have to wait for 2 hours for the base notes to kick in, so you don't have to worry about that. So as far as the fragrance coming into its own, and giving you a beautiful, beautiful scent bubble, and sillage, I would say that probably about a 3, 3.5, depending on how you layer this. When I wore this, I sprayed it on dry skin. I didn't do any layering and all my little fancy preparation before applying fragrances. So that was just on my skin. The longevity of this fragrance on my skin, I would say lasted about 4 to 6 hours. I would tell you that if you're going to a special event, if you have to pack an overnight bag, You definitely want to throw this in your bag. You may have to reapply if you're going somewhere where there's going to be a lot of smoking. That smoke is going to get in your clothes or on your hair or your wig if you're wearing extensions or braids or something like that. You know your hair catches the scent of those things. And so you may want to add this to your bag if you're hanging out on a nice date night. You want to smell good all night until the early morning or whenever. That's your personal business. I would highly recommend throwing this in your bag or your overnight bag so that you can reapply and freshen up. Because you may have to do that probably after 6 hours. I mean, some people like to party all night to the morning. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that life. But just in case you do, pack this with you. So overall, this fragrance, the company of Oakcha'S, the fragrance itself, the presentation, how quickly it got to me, their customer service, how easy it was to order the fragrance, I would actually give their company 4.5 stars. They treated me very, very well. They didn't treat me less than because I was purchasing a fragrance that was on discount, being discontinued, because I wanted to try it out. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend like full price for something when I can get it for super, super cheap. I also got like a discount code with my frag. So I didn't pay hardly anything for the fragrance. I really didn't. And that's what I was sharing with you guys before about really, really doing your research, because they had this fragrance marked down to like, I think $14 or something. It might have been $10. I don't know. And then on top of that, I got some extra discounts. So I didn't pay nothing for it. They didn't charge me for shipping. And so, like I said, sometimes you can find really good deals. I will tell you this. I have fragrances in my collection that are way up there. And that, in my opinion, is much better quality. And that's what I appreciate overall. And that's why I want to come on and share this fragrance with you guys and tell you about my experience with the company Oakcha'S, which is an inspired by fragrance company. They do what a lot of people call dupes of higher end niche brand and designer fragrances, mostly niche brands. And I am really, really impressed, and I want to come on and share that with you guys. So that's all we have for today's video. Again, if you don't have any fragrances in your collection, I believe this fragrance is sold out on their website. But you can probably go on their wait list for it because the price is super, super cheap, super, super low. And if you know how to negotiate and haggle, you may get it for even cheaper than what they're showing you on their actual page. I'd say go for it, give it a try. They also have a discovery kit on their website for like $14.95, where you can try out 4 to 6 fragrances in a box in the little vials to see what you think about their company. I think that's a really good deal also, because you know most discovery sets cost you $100 plus. So I think that's a really, really good deal as well. All right. Oh, great. You're still there. So I wanted to make sure that I thanked you guys for all of your love and support. I've got some new supporters, some new subscribers. So thank you guys. Welcome to Color Me Bad Nation. Super, super glad to have you. Happy holiday season. No matter what you do or don't celebrate, enjoy the festivities. Have a good time. Stay warm. Drink lots of warm liquids. Love and light. I want to thank you guys from the top of my head to the bottom of my tippy toes. This is your girl, Color Me Bad Lynn, saying thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to hit that like button.